Right, I've had loads of requests about what this V3 software's like, so I'm just going to go through it now with you. There's a lot of things that are the same. Mainly it's just comes up with 4 kilohertz here, but it drains your battery really quick. I went out on a dig the other day. It had been quite heavily battered. Second time we've been on it, I found a big, I think it was a Charles shilling last time, and I know that field was gridded. I went over it in that field within a few minutes. I had a Vicky sixpence down at about 14 inches. Went over it in multi and I couldn't pick it up, so I know it works, but obviously it's location precise really. It's only really for ground that you've been over it in multi, picked all your little bits up, and then it's for hitting your deep targets. Now what I'll do, I'll show you now the different settings. Right, you've got your noise cancel, so every time you finish setting it up, noise cancel it and that'll quieten your machine down. Now you've got your ground balance. I set it to obviously 0 all the time, but if you go over to some mineralised soil or sand, keep your finger, pump it, and it'll give you the ground balance what you need. Or if you click that there, which gives you auto tracking, that's good for on the beach, for if there's a lot of black sand and stuff and the minerals are changing all the time. I'll run the tracking part of it. To knock it back off, you just knock it off. So if you get that little symbol there and you wonder what it is, that's tracking ground balance. Now you've got your volume, keep your finger on it there, and then you can change your volumes of each different one. Iron volume's 3, everything else is maxed out at 25. Okay, now this is on the 800, the 600's a bit different because 600's got limited settings, you see. So threshold, threshold volume, if it shows you the little volume there, set at 3. These are just my settings where I run. Finger on again, and that gives you your tone of your threshold. So the hum, the tone of the hum is 4. Finger on, volume 3. Target tone, I generally run 5 tones, but I do run 50 tones if there's a lot of iron and stuff and I want to pick out the targets. It's a bit more precise around iron, 50 tones is, but it does take a little bit more learning. So that's your 5 tones. Then finger on there. Now this is my own tones. I just use the Searcher tones because I've always used them and I'm used to them. I've had this machine now for 2 years. Well, not this machine, but we've had 4 of them now because the girls have had one each, but obviously they've gone over to the Vanquish. So tone 10 is tone 2, 18 tone 3, 22 tone 4, 24 tone 5, tone 1 for iron. But like I say, these are the Searchers, these aren't my own, it's just a program that I use and I've just copied the tones. So if I come off it, again, accept and reject, I've got it set on 1. Now if you want to adjust them, a little flasher there, look. So if you want to put it on, so it picks anything up from a 0, you click there. If you want it in, you've got the little black in, that means anything, obviously from a 0. If you want it out, anything from a 1. Now if you're adjusting that, you've also got to do your accept and reject in this one. So if you want it so it's on 0, you have to alter it on 0 on here, and then obviously you've got to have that line filled in on there, so you've got to have the 2 of them matched up. So because I'm having it on 1, I've got to have that one on 1. Now these are accept and reject, so anything, if you've got your all metal on, metal will be anything from minors all the way through to 1, and then your next tone will be anything from 1 to 8, anything from 8 to 18, anything from 18 to 25, and anything from 25 all the way through to the end, which is 40. Recovery speed, I generally start at 4. That's just the general. If I want a bit more depth, I'll drop it down to 3 or sometimes 2. But obviously you've got swing really slow when you're the lower, like the recovery. Obviously the faster your recovery, you can swing obviously faster, but when it's dropping right down, you've got to slow down the swing. Finger on there. Iron bias is 0. I very rarely run it above 0, but if you want to run the F2, click the tick, and then the F2. Now it's generally set at 6 as standard, but if you want to run it at 0, 0 is actually lower than iron bias at 0. So by running F2 at 0, it is lower than the iron bias on 0. But I generally run iron bias on 0 because that's just what I'm used to, and I have no troubles with running that. Now, to go back, obviously there, pinpoint there, that's your pinpoint. Horseshoe, all metal. So if it's showing up all black, that's your all metal. And then obviously frequencies. Now, this is where the 5 kilohertz or the 4 kilohertz comes in. You've still got 5, you've still got 10, 15, 20 and 40. But if you run it on there on 4, that's really, really quiet. That's what the new V3 gives you, 4 kilohertz. But just be warned, it does use your battery. So that is the new V3 software on here. Obviously, to go back, you got 5, 10, 15 and 20. 20 kilohertz is my main frequency that I use around EMI. If there's a lot of EMI, 20 kilohertz is really good. It's also very, very good around iron. Multi will pick a lot of rubbish up as well, but if you drop it in 20 when there's a lot of small pieces of iron and trash, this does winkle through where multi sometimes struggles. But I do use 50 tones on multi if there's a lot of crap around. So obviously all your settings there, 20, straight into multi again. Use a button there. I've got Neil's beat program plugged in on that one. On 50 tones again. If you want to save a program, keep your finger on that button, and whatever you've got on the screen, it'll store it into your profile one there. Obviously you've got your wireless. If you want to plug in some wireless headphones or whatever, make sure you turn the wireless set on first, so it's pairing mode, obviously, to the detector, and then finger down on that till it bleeps, and it should find it and pick it up. This side here, you've got your brightness. Obviously it goes through different stages, look. But if it's using battery, a lot of the times you'll have that little illuminated there. It might just be on a different setting there, but make sure that that's off. And then obviously your power button. I hope this has helped you. I haven't done a video for a long time, so just a little helper here for everybody who wants to know what the V3 is about, and the general settings of it. You've got it all in there. Catch you all later, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.